Hello, guys. This is Family Guy Volume 6 review. I'm going to be reviewing all of the episodes of this volume. So, starting with episode 1, we have No Meals on Wheels. I give this a 7 out of 10. I like the concept of Peter's own restaurant, but the execution was mediocre at best. I was going to rate this a 5 out of 10, but the joke when Stewie, Chris brings back the steak, Stewie puts the drink in the rat, and the rat throws up all over the steak. And when Peter gets his what was it? Peter gets crippled. That was a quote unquote sad ending, I'd say. So that just gave it 2 extra points. Okay. Our next episode is Boys Do Cry. I gave this a 3 out of 10 rating. The concept of Stewie being the quote unquote Antichrist was a very good idea, actually, but unfortunately the execution was not very good. The jokes and cutaways were mediocre, and I did not like the idea of Stewie being in a beauty pageant. It just kind of ruined the episode. And them going to Texas, like, okay, who really cares? And then Peter getting a horse and almost being killed because he was quote unquote retarded this episode was just not a good episode, in my opinion. I don't know how you leave in the comments how you would judge this or what rating you would give this episode out of 10. On the episode No Chris Left Behind, I gave it a 4 out of 10. I did not like the concept or the execution of this episode. The jokes were alright, and the only thing that makes this a 4 out of 10 and not a 3 out of 10 is because of the chicken fight. It wasn't even the best chicken fight of the whole show, but if it were, then the episode maybe would have got a 5 out of 10, 7 out of 10 at best. On the episode, It Takes a Village Idiot, and I Married One. I really liked this episode. I would give it a 8 out of 10, possibly a 9 out of 10. The only thing holding us back from a 10 would be the execution of the episode. If they could have done it like the episode where Peter ran against Lois for the school board, then it definitely would have gotten a 10. The jokes were great, the cutaways were great, and the Jason Voorhees cameo was great. I really liked the ending of this episode as well. It was a very good episode. That's the only thing that I don't like about the episode. Meet the Quagmires was a very special episode for me because this was when I started watching Family Guy when I was younger. This was probably like the 10th episode I ever watched, and it was the best one. I give this a 10 out of 10. The concept was great. The execution was great. Jokes and cutaways, they were alright. They weren't that funny. The episode makes up for it, though. I like how Brian stayed with him the entire time. Peter went time traveled. I like the Back of the Future ending. I like how they went through time because Peter kept screwing it up. I really liked that. Our next one is Moving Out, Brian's Song. I gave this a 5 out of 10. The concept was fine. The execution was fine. The jokes and cutaways are fine. The episode wasn't particularly bad, but it wasn't good either. It was just in the middle. If you have spare time if you're just sitting down and you want to watch an episode of Family Guy, but you don't want to get too intrigued and you don't want it to be a super bad episode, I would just say watch Moving Out Brian's song. It's just a middle episode. You just watch it and you're just like, all right, this was a cool episode. Well, I'm done. Believe it or not, Joe's Walking on Air. I give this a 10 out of 10. I really liked the jokes in this episode. It was pretty exciting to see what would happen if Joe got his legs back, since he got shot in the spine at the end. The concept and execution were both pretty well planned as well. They were both all right. I liked them. I like the concept. Execution was all right. Stewie kills Lois. I would give it 10 out of 10. I really like the concept of this episode. And I'm glad that it was a simulation because I didn't want to see Lois dead forever. I really liked Stewie, Brian, and Peter in this episode. The cutaways were fine, but the jokes in the episode were really funny, if you know what I mean. Like, when they set up a cutaway and it cuts to that. But the actual jokes when it doesn't cut to a cutaway, those were the good. Those were the really funny ones. Lois kills Stewie. I would give a 10 out of 10. This episode was just as good as Stewie kills Lois. I didn't really like Lois's story after she got saved by the half fish, half man, but he had human legs and a fish body. But the fight scene made up for it. The concept and execution is the same as Stewie kills Lois. The owl joke was really funny. The joke were really funny, and the cutaways were even better. Cleveland going to heaven was really funny. Stewie's song was very good as well. We definitely needed the song since there wasn't one in the first part. I have a little list. I've got him on the list. Yeah. They none of them be missed. They none of them be missed. They none of them be missed. Padre de Familia, I gave a 8 out of 10. I originally didn't like this episode, but I watched it a couple more times and I realized that this was a very good episode. We find out that Peter is an illegal immigrant. I liked the episode because Peter was acting like a patriotic douche, and then just to find out he was born in Mexico. The ending was actually kind of sad, but the jokes and cutaways were pretty bland in my opinion. For Peter's daughter, I would give it a 10 out of 10. I really like to see Meg treated the right way, especially from Peter. The jokes and cutaways were very good in this episode. The B-plot was very good as well. I like to see Brian and Stewie working together to build the house. Well, working together just in general, but I liked it when they were building the house as well. That was pretty cool. For a season finale, I don't think this is a very good one. I'm only going to give this a 6 of 10. The cutaways were really funny in this episode, especially the Shawshank Redemption cutaway with the Monopoly guy when, they were trying to rape him in the confinery. The B-plot was very funny, once again. Peter using Brian as his mustache was also very amusing. But for a season finale, it was not a good episode. But if it was just for a regular, then sure, I would probably give this maybe 1 point higher, 7 of 10. But that's it for this video. So hope you enjoyed. If maybe we could get past 20 likes, if a lot of you guys like this, then I'll do another review on whichever season you guys want. So that's the end of this episode, and see ya.